Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing 18AL. Second game after the first one went totally wrong. So the first video was a short one, and this one also will be because my battery is pretty low and I cannot get to my cable right at the moment. So only about 30 to 40 minutes left, I guess. But anyways, I wanted to do this now. We've done the first OR, nothing happened. Of course, just a couple of tile placements. The ABC, what was that? Atlanta and West Point, the L and N, let's call that AW or what. Yeah, these three companies were started, and that's pretty much it. Nobody has the money right now to start something else. So we are in the stock round. This guy passes. This guy passes. Does he? We got to be careful when it comes to the selling of the privates, because now we got only two more trains, two trains, and the first player who can buy the 3 train. And remember, you can only buy a single train per OR until the 4 trains come out in this game. The first player who can buy the 3 train has the advantage that he will be able to sell his privates, and then he can start a company earlier than the others, because he has this option one stock round earlier. So that's a very tricky thing. Right now it seems this will be the red player. So that's okay for the others, because the red player only has a $20 private. So if he sells it for 30, it's not such a big deal. And that might not be enough to start a second company. At least not for a high cost, so for a high price. So maybe it's not so bad right now, and people might be happy with the situation as it is. Anyway, he's going to pass, or he will pass. And yeah, I think everybody is. So then we go into the second OR. And now companies will start to make money. We start again with the L and N, which is, by the way, also sold out. So that's the reason why they are up there. And we built a route into Corinth here, which is a logical opening move, I guess. So that costs me 20 bucks. There we go. And now we can run the 2 train for 90, and this guy gets 54, and this guy gets 36, and I forgot to pay the privates. So the ABC will lay track. And they have to make an important decision. They have a single token. And basically, because every company has a special historical destination, and written down here in Birmingham, West Point. So these guys want to go to West Point. And this one is also Birmingham. Now Birmingham is right here, and it's also the most lucrative place on the board once it is fully upgraded. Now, the thing is, they could lay a token in Oxmoor and cause pain to the AW, because then they cannot get to Birmingham nor here. That would be probably very painful for them. And I mean, they can still run two trains, one to Oxmoor, one to Zelma. It's not a total disaster, but it's definitely not good. And on the other hand, they will prevent these guys from going there. Now, do they want to do it? I think they will. I have also a kind of a personality chart about cooperating against other players or with other players or not. And this guy is not very high there. Now, let's see if he's willing to make a deal or not. And I think on a 1 to 4, he won't. So yeah, that's a 3. So he says, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna lay a token here in Oxmoor for 40 bucks. And now, good luck getting to Birmingham. I mean, it's not impossible at all. He could, for example, upgrade Zelma, and then it's one tile placement. But he's got to be also a little lucky that that there are exits in the right direction. And that can take a while. For example, even here in brown, there's not an exit in every direction, only then in gray. So that is definitely not great. But on the other hand, green has no additional token left, and they did not place their historical token. So it is also a pretty... It's mainly a dicky move. It doesn't really help green a lot. And even if the AW would have placed a token here, the ABC could have easily moved around here. But okay, that is the decision made, and I don't think it's a totally absurd one. So then the ABC runs the train. They only have a single 2 train, so they run for 60 from Atlanta here to whatever that is. And yeah, of course they pay out. So the ABC had a quick thought about not buying the last 2 train, and instead waiting and letting someone else buy the last 2 trains, simply because now this guy has the option to buy the 3 train and then purchase his permanent immediately. But as I said earlier, I think it's not so bad, because he only has a $20 permanent, so that doesn't hurt people too much. And in addition to that, I obviously want 2 trains. I would lose a bit of revenue, so I think it's in my interest to buy that last 2 train. So that means from now, 3 trains are available. And there are 1, 2, I think there are 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we come to the AW, and they will lay a tile here. make the connection. It still gives them the best revenue right now, which is 50. I mean, they could maybe. Well, they are not in green yet, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's 50. And so they get $30. That is a weak run. I don't think this is such a great company to start, especially if this one shows up. But yeah, it was a weird choice by this guy. Used some randomness there, and sometimes it happens. I've also seen that happen. And now he buys the 3 train, obviously. Definitely gives him an advantage. He might not even be able to run it, to be honest. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he can run it, but only on a 2 route, it seems. Anyways, he buys a 3 train, and so that costs him $180, which is a lot. There's no doubt about that. So only 320 are left in the company. And now he will buy his private in for $40. And no, that's not possible. Not making the same mistake again. Maximum is 1.5. So he does it only for $30. Okay, there we go. Wait a minute. That makes sense? Take the $30 to the bank, so the money should go obviously here. Okay, great. This is it. Company paid out. Okay. And we come to the next stock round. We're now in green. And, well, let's see. Let's see. Gotta check the money and some things. So already we see some maybe interesting decisions that could be made. So this guy has priority. Now actually what he can do is he could now dump the company on him. I mean, why would he do that? Well, the reason is there are already, it was a very low started company, and he spent $200. So that means right now there are only about, only $370 in the company. That is definitely not much. And I wonder why there is so little in, because I laid the token. Shouldn't there be even 360? That's 360, yeah. Okay, that isn't a lot at all. I could sell 50%, which would then give the company to him. I would get $300 out of this, and I would pretty much then be, again, I could start a new company for $600, or for 60, because I then have again something like 370 or so. So I could start a new company for 60, which is again pretty low, but it's still 200 more than the company I have now. On the other hand, I would lose a run because the new company would not have a train. But I could freely choose now between the 3 companies left. Probably this one here. This isn't an interesting board position. You know, there's already some connections here. I could upgrade this quickly in Birmingham. It seems really like a good company to me. So I could do that. however, this is a very, very, very conservative player. So I really don't think he's going to go on with this move. Therefore, I will roll a die, and I think on a 1 to 4 he will do it. Otherwise he won't. And actually the idea was exactly the other way around. I wanted to say on a 1 to 4 he won't do it. So I'm gonna roll again. Okay, so he won't. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit too aggressive for him. Okay, he will not do it, so he's gonna hold on to his shares. He's got the money to buy a new share. I wonder if I want to do that or not. Let's see. Maybe I'll wait and see what the others do. But it's important to have priority in this position. I think I want to invest in this share. That can't be wrong. I can still sell it. It's $60, and this guy, I don't think he want to dump his company or something. He might try to start a second one, which will drop the share price. We'll see about it. Let's see. Okay, now it's him. He's sitting on 60, 70, $80. Is he going to start a second company? Well, maybe. It's an interesting question. Maybe he will. So now we have the same option again, basically, with this guy. But he is in a slightly better position. He has a little more money in hand. He could sell all his shares. This company isn't too great. And so he doesn't have to be afraid if somebody takes it away from him, even though it has a free train. And then he could, for example, start something in mobile and work together with this guy. You know, they can make the connection here. Selma, maybe upgrade that at some point and then go to Birmingham. That sounds kind of tempting for him. So I think he probably will do this. He's also not quite as conservative as the other guy, although still a little bit. But I think this is a good thing to do. So, and I gotta sell this stuff anyways, because now he will be able to buy in the new Decatur yards, and at that point, I'm pretty sure he will leave the company anyways. So let's see. On a 1 to 5, he's going to do that. And he will. And maybe this guy is saying now, damn, maybe I should have done it. But okay. So I'm going to say all the stuff. I'm going to sell everything I got here. So this gives me 120. And now it's an interesting thing. Which one do I want to go down first? You know, I could now start counting trains here. And actually, I think I will. So I kind of have a feeling that I maybe want to actually go last. I don't necessarily want a free train. I probably will end up with one, but at least I want to give the other guys a chance to buy it. Well, actually I made a mistake here anyways, because this guy will only go down 2 spaces, 2, 3, and I will go down 4 spaces because I'm gonna obviously sell all 4 of my shares. So they all end up in the bank pool now. And it's interesting. Maybe someone else is actually willing to take the company. We'll see about this. So that gives me $360, and I will start. Yeah, I think I'm going to start the mobile and try to work something out here in the South. Help these poor guys a little bit. And another player asking himself the same question. Because so many other people kind of invested maybe a little carelessly in the companies of other players, he could now dump the company on him. Don't get me wrong, this is not a terrible company. It's sitting on $525. On the other hand, it already has spent $200, right? So, in addition to that, if I want to have control over another company, so over more capital, I got to do it now. Because if I don't do it, then this guy will. And in addition to that, he's going to trash my shares, right? Because he's sitting on 40%. So he's going to trash my shares and he's going to start a new company. And then at the end of the stock round, priority will be over there. And he will be able then in the next stock round to start the last available company, because there are only 3 companies left. So if I want to do it, I got to do it now. If I want to avoid this sucker trashing my shares, I basically have to do it. I mean, I really got no choice. I might give it a thought, maybe on a 6. I'm going to roll a second time, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. The only reason I roll is because I'm also a very conservative player, so I might not take the... I don't know, I don't think I will do it. Okay, so I got to sell that stuff. Otherwise, I'm just simply... The fact alone that he can trash my shares is painful enough. So let's exchange to the presidency. And obviously we can only sell 50% in the bank pool. I thought for a minute of keeping 20 or something, but apart from the constant threat that I could end up with the presidency again somehow, maybe not in this round, but maybe later, I wouldn't have enough money to float it really high. Well, more or less high. Now I can at least float it on 75, which is not bad at all. So obviously he started the Tennessee, Alabama and Georgia Railway, which is here. It's in a pretty good position, I think. And he also has the South and North Alabama Railroad. We have a coal marker here. So that, I think, is a really good position for him to start something new. Let me see. Yeah, first I thought now, oh God, this guy is in a terrible position. He was really afraid. He thought, oh fuck man, I'm totally out of the game. This is gone. I have to sit here for the next 3 hours and watch the other people play if I don't go bankrupt. But actually that's not true. Actually he's in a pretty good position now, because now he controls a company, and because of these 2 suckers they have to float their companies. That means he will be in priority at the end of the stock round. So what he can do is he can simply buy in his 2 companies from the $500 that are still in here. There's more than enough money in there. And then he can use that money in the next stock round to start the last available company, and he's going to be okay. This guy, however, is in a very questionable position. And now he kind of regrets that he didn't dump his company and started something new. But as I said, he's a very conservative player, so at that moment it didn't came to his mind, I guess. So we're done with this stock round. It definitely was kind of interesting. So he floated the mobile in Ohio. We should get to place the sheets there at 70. He floated the Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia at 75. And he bought 2 more shares of the L&N, so he's now at 60%. There's still a couple of shares in here, 3 actually, because this guy is still holding 1, which is fine for him. The L&N will make a good run next time with his 2 trains. They're going to be fine. And yeah, now I think this guy is actually in a really good position. He might be even on the winning side at that point. So it's hard to tell. You might argue, well, maybe then this guy made a mistake by selling the company to him and start something new. But that is hard to tell, as I said. If he wouldn't have done that, things would not have been much better, because then his shares would have been trashed. I already said so. And he would not have had the option to get access to fresh capital anymore. So therefore, I think it was the only option. And maybe he was doomed from the beginning. Or maybe now he can use what he has. And yeah, I don't know if he still has a chance to win. Right now it looks a lot, I think, that he is in a very, very good position now. He can use the $500 here, which is still a lot. Get a lot of these privates, and then start a fresh company, and he's going to be in a perfect position. So yeah, fine. The only thing in question is how much money can he actually generate to start the new company? Will it be enough to par it really high? And that isn't so sure, because he can only sell 2 of his shares. And they are not worth a lot. They're going to be at 70, so that's 140. Maybe it's not that great. That's 140. This thing gives him about 100. So it's, let's say 250. And this thing gives him another 150. So he's going to be at 400. That's not great at all. So, but he still has to do it, right? So overall, maybe his position isn't as strong as I thought. He's going to sit on 2 companies, which means he's got 2 permanents to buy at some point. And both of them won't be in a very strong position. Well, so we'll see. Let's get on with the OR. So the tech started, and they laid the tile here in their home city. They obviously lay a token, and they cannot run any trains, so the share value drops. And now they are going to buy a train for $180. And of course we have to pay out the privates, which I forgot again. So in my calculation that he was sitting on about $400 or something, I mean, that was obviously not true. He is in a much better position at the end of the set of ORs. First of all, he gets, of course, quite a bit of money out of the runs. There's going to be 2 runs for about 150 or something, and he holds 60%. So that alone gives him, I'm not sure, maybe $180. And in addition, he gets $70 out of the 2 companies, revenue for 2 ORs. So he's actually going to be really fine. Okay, the tech bought a 3 train.
And then next is the M&O. And I think they're going to work their way towards Zelma and try to connect here with the Atlanta and West Point. They are owned by the same player, and that helps them both. And then maybe they can upgrade Zelma and make their way to Birmingham at some point. So let's find a curve. There we go. And I also want to buy a train, I guess, for 180. Well, technically I don't need to do that now. But I will be able to run next turn. If the Atlanta lays a tile here and I lay a tile here, then in the next turn I can already make a run. So a 3 train is perfect for me for 180. So here's now the big question. Do we want to buy the 3 train? So if we do it, and someone else, this is the last 3 train. So if we buy the 3 train and someone else buys the 4 train, my 2 trains go away and my revenue will go down quite a bit. I can only run for 90 with a 3 train. And right now I make 150, right? So if someone would buy the 4 train, it would hurt myself quite a bit. But on the other hand, if I don't buy the 3 train and 2 other companies buy trains, then the 4 train would show up anyways, and I would be without train, and that would mean that I would make no money next time at all. And as we realized, this guy needs all the money he can get to start his next company, possibly as high as possible. So therefore, this is a really tough decision now. And I would say we take a closer look at the other companies and their situation. This guy has 2 trains. I guess he's not too interested in buying the 3 train and open up for others the possibility to destroy his 2 trains, especially because he's sitting on $350 and he wants to buy in his company for, I don't know how much it is. It's going to be 180. It's going to be just enough for a 3 train. I mean, you could argue maybe he's going to buy the 3 train because that's something he can afford and say, hey, I better take the 3 train now. But I don't know. How likely is that? It's hard to tell. It really is. It's super hard to tell. Now these 2 guys here, I don't think that he's going to buy a train. I don't think he will. He's running the 2 train here, and if this route opens, he runs the 3 train. So he simply cannot run 2 trains. And I don't think he wants to buy that other train to hurt me, because he also owns a 2 train. So it will also hurt himself. I don't think he's going to buy one. What about him? I mean, he's sitting on $500. He's got a 3 train. And he also, I mean, he could lay a token, but if he really wants to run the 3 train to its full extent, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy another train for him too. So, and he's also a little low in treasury, so I don't think that he's gonna that this player will buy trains. Maybe he could do it, right? He might buy a second train. But the thing is, if we're not panicking, it's going to be okay. On the other hand, if I buy now a train for 180, I have a train for not too much money. The 4 train costs me 300. This is, of course, significantly more. So these are tough decisions to make, and I really don't know. I think I'm going to roll a die with a strong tendency probably not to buy it. I'm not sure, though. It's a very, very hard decision. I think on a 1 to 4, I'm not going to buy the 3 train. I really would prefer to buy... no. Yeah, it's... Damn it. The thing is, you know, if I don't have a 3 train and wait for the 4 train, I'm going to lose a run. But I want to lose that run if I sell down my shares to buy new shares to start a new company. And then I want to buy with my new company the first 4 train. That would be perfect, right? And if I then lose a run, it's no big deal. But let's see, on a 1 to 5, I'm not going to buy the train. And I won't do it. So I hope nobody else does. And I think it won't happen, but we'll see. At least I don't think that we go to the 4 train. That's the thing. I'm not talking about the 3 train. There might be people who buy a 3 train, but I don't think we're going to see the 4 train showing up in this set of ORs. Okay, so it's now the ABC. Okay, so these guys did run for 13. And they also have now this question going on, do we want to buy a 3 train? For them it's even more attractive because, look at their position on the board here. If they make a connection, let's say here, then they can run their trains. They could go with a 2 train here, with a 2 train here, and then with a 3 train down here. So they would make a massive run that way. And it would be just great. And they have enough money for buying a 3 train and still buying this thing in. And then the idea, maybe if they swallow once or so, I don't know, it's hard, but then they might be able... It's a tough question. They got this company then, and if they time it right, maybe they can get the 5 train cheap. I don't know. It's going to be hard for them to get then the permanent train, but still, I mean, it's very attractive now to buy the 3 train at that point. But what about the others? You know, will the others buy a 4 train? I really thought about him, and I don't really think so, because, you know, he has the money to buy himself a 5 train. Of course, it would hurt the others a lot if he would buy the 4 train. But then again, if he does so, he doesn't have a permanent train, and it might not be so easy for him to get the money to finance one. But if he doesn't, then he has the money here for a 5, and here, you know, he just swallows once maybe, and then he can basically, with a single swallow, he might be able to bring enough money into his companies so that both of them can afford a permanent train. So I really don't think he's going to waste money for the 4 train just to hurt the others. I mean, some people might do so, but I wouldn't. Question is about this guy. I mean, A similar situation here. He's sitting on 560 or something. Is he so eager to buy a second train? That's hard to answer. He goes first, so he goes before this guy, which means he could not even run it at that point, right? So, because this connection, I mean, he has to make a decision if he wants to lay this connection and connect here, or if he wants to go north and connect here. I mean, of course, he could make that connection, lay a token there, and then he could run two trains. But still, I don't know. I don't think so. So on a 1 to 5, the ABC will buy the 3 train. And he does. So he buys it for 180. I think that's a good idea. Even though he is a conservative player, but you know, he doesn't mainly do that to hurt the others or just to crazy push trains or something. He can run these 3 trains. He can make a lot of money out of them. He owns 60%, 20% are in the bank pool. I don't see a reason why he shouldn't do it. And even if it's 2 trains get destroyed, which is possible, at least he's got a train, right? So I think it makes sense in his position to do it. For him, it's a little different because he cannot really run 3 trains, not at all. So for him, it wasn't that valuable to buy the 3rd train. And he can save the money now and say, okay, I'm buying a 4 train at some point, and that's fine for me too. Okay, same decision. Will he buy a 4 train or not? Now I'm leaning toward it, to be honest. It is great to screw the other people over. This guy would be without a train. This guy only has a single train. So I really have a feeling now, hey, maybe I should try it. Maybe I should actually do it. Just to screw the others over. The thing is, I mean, the point is I don't really need a train. I don't, at least not a 3 and a 4 train. I cannot run that at all, you know. I'm sitting here, I can run 2 trains, yes, but the 4 train would only go 2 stations. So that's the problem. I don't really need that train. And it's expensive, and the company is basically broke afterward. But the thing is, if I don't do it, I know. It is really a very, very tough decision. It really is. I really don't know. The thing is that this player is also pretty conservative. I kind of randomized this, and I roll 2 dice, right? 2 6-sided dice. Now this player is, when it comes to aggressiveness, at a 3, this player at a 5, this player at a 4, and this player at a 9. So he is actually the only one who is really an aggressive player. Still, he made the choice not to buy the train. But at that point, I kind of thought that was a clever one. Anyways, I don't really think he's going to do it. Because it doesn't give him a big advantage. It only hurts the others. The company will be broke. He's a non-aggressive player. So I guess on a 1 to 5 he's not gonna do it. And he doesn't. That is a relief for the other players, obviously. So we are in the next OR, the privates paid out. The TAG made that connection here, and they managed to run for 110, which is not bad. They only have a single train, a 3 train, but they made a solid run. And now they're gonna buy in, and actually they should have done that before that run, and I will correct that. So they will buy in the southern North Alabama for $60, which is the maximum 1.55, the face value. And then I will lay my token. I guess I'm gonna lay it here probably. There we go. Do I want to lay it there or do I want to lay it down here? I think I want to lay it here in this city, and that gives me then 10 additional bucks per share, so I get another 6. Okay. Oh, it's one buck per share, obviously. Okay, and then it is again the mobile and Ohio. And they're now going to connect here to Selma for $20. Okay, and they can now also run their 3 train. And by the way, I didn't buy a train either, you know. This is the thing, I got $500. This is nearly enough for a permanent train. For a 5, for a 6. Why would I buy now a non-permanent train? I could do it to destroy the others, but I really don't have a feeling I want to. I cannot run it terribly well. I know there are a lot of people who play very aggressive, but in this specific position, I really don't know if I would actually do it. I just don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to answer. I'm going to give him actually another chance to buy a 4 train. That would allow him to destroy the others' runs. And yeah, I think actually I would do it. Considering the fact that he's a very conservative or a relatively conservative player, I will only do it on a 1 to 4. Not on a 1 to 4. I will only do it on a 5 or 6. So he rolled a 1 or 2, so it's not going to happen. Okay, he's not going to buy that 4 train. He ran the 3 train. You know, I mean, there are reasons not to buy it. He cannot run it, basically. It's just to screw the others. He couldn't run the 4 train. It cost $300. It's a non-permanent train, and he has the money to buy himself a permanent train or a 5 train if it shows up. So therefore, you could say, okay, there are reasons not to buy the 4 train with this company. But that is a big problem in the 18xx games because other people are making more money in this situation. And if other people are making more money, you want to stop them from doing that. And therefore, he's got to buy that train. On the other hand, you could argue, okay, we're talking about one more OR here. And it's not the world of, you know, I mean, we're making good money, that's true. But we're talking about one run with these guys and one run with these guys. And then a new company will be launched and this guy will then buy a 4 train. That is basically for sure. I mean, yeah. I'm pretty sure he will do so. He will buy the 4 train because he only has two trains. So that means You know, maybe this company will even buy the 4 train. It's not unlikely that he will do so now, because he might go for one more run and then buy the 4 train to destroy his run. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, because he knows that next time the 2 trains will be gone anyways, and he might not want to lose the whole run. On the other hand, maybe he says, you know, got 550 bucks in there. Maybe I'm lucky, and maybe I can get my hands on a 5. And again, the big question, do I want to buy the first 4 train now with this guy? They're about 350, and the company, so if I buy the train, the company is pretty much out of money. Can lay one more token and that's it, basically. Okay, I mean, one thing is pretty much for sure. If I don't buy a train now, I won't have a train next turn, simply because I'm going to start a company myself, and I'm not going to start, you know, buying a 2 train over there. I mean, I could technically, but it doesn't do me that much good. I think I want to buy a 4 train immediately, and then this company has no train left. The only reason I might want to do it is because I'm hoping that the remaining two 4 trains go away before this company operates, so that I am the lucky guy who can buy a 5 train. Even if I have to spend, I don't know, something like 120 or so, buying a 5 train out of pocket or partly out of pocket is fine, you know. If you spend 120 and you get your permanent train, that is totally good for me. But how likely is that? If I buy the first 4 train, let's say I would buy the first with my other company, then there are 2 4 trains left. But there are only 2 companies operating before me. And these guys will not be eager to buy a 4 train either, right? So that's the thing. I mean, they might also say, hey, you know, I got my 3 train. I don't really need a 4 train. And the red guy, it's a tough decision, damn it. It's for all of them. It's so hard. This is exactly this thing, you know, it's this game, you know, this who buys the train, and who, everybody's kind of waiting for the permanent. This is such a hard decision. But on the other hand, this guy is the only aggressive player, and if he does it, he will hurt some of the other players quite a bit. So I think he will do it. The problem is he will probably then end up with 2 4 trains. That's not good. In this game, however, the 4 trains have an additional run. The 4 trains have the soft rusting mechanism, which means if they rust, they become instead obsolete. They can run one more time. You're not allowed to trade them during that period of time, but they can run one more time and then they will disappear. So they are not as bad as in some other games, right? Okay, so I'm going to roll a die here on a 1 to 5. I'm going to buy that train. And it's a 6, look at that. So hey, I say okay, I'm not going to buy that train. Maybe the others will, and if not, I will buy the train. I will lose a run, but that's not going to be so bad because I'm going to own only 20% of my shares at that point, and of the shares of the oh no, that's actually not true, because I can only sell 2 shares. So I'm sitting still on 40%, which kind of sucks. I mean, that is a real problematic decision, I think. I'm afraid the only thing that happens if I don't buy the 4 train is I'm going to lose a run, and then in the next turn I'm going to have to buy the 4 train anyway. I mean, I could buy it from the other company, right? But, you know, I'm going to roll again, and let's give it another shot. On a 1 to 4, I'm going to buy the train. Okay, I'm going to do it. I think it makes so much more sense, right? And otherwise, I really don't know. I think it would be a very, very bad move to do that, to not do it. It would have been different, I think, if he would have only held 20%. It would not have been so bad. He wouldn't have lost that much money because he didn't have the run and all. But he holds 40% of that company, you know. He wants to make sure that company can run next OR. And therefore, I'm going to buy the 4 train, which shoots away all the 2 trains, obviously. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, now here's what I'm thinking about. This guy is now kind of hosed, you know. I mean, it's not terrible, but he's not in a great position anymore because there are only $200 in there, and he only has a 3 train, and he definitely has use for a second train, right? He's very well connected here, so it would be cool if he could get a second train. Right now he can only run for 100 basically, and yeah, that kind of sucks. So the idea is that I thought about maybe buying the company in, but not for the full value. If I buy it in for less, I might be able to use the ability and buy a 4 train for half value, so for 150. Because if I don't do it, then this ability of the company is lost. Because I simply don't have any money in the company. If I buy now if I buy this thing for, I don't know, let's say 180, that would be the maximum value. That'd be $26 left in here, and I will not be able to use the ability of the company anymore. So that kind of sucks. And maybe I should have thought about that before I bought the 3 train, right? But okay, I mean, there is so much to consider in these games. So my idea now is that I say, okay, maybe I want to swallow. And maybe I don't want to pay out the full value here. And then maybe I want to say I buy the 3 train for 150. So if I swallow, and I think I'm going to do that, I get $90, which is really not a lot. But okay, let's say we do it anyways. What am I doing here? Okay, 75, 80, that's $90. Okay, fine. Then the idea is to say, okay, I gotta spend $150 for the train. Okay, cool. I'm gonna just keep $1 just in case, right? So what I have got left now is $145. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna buy now for $145 the company in. So it's not that bad, you know, it's still a lot of money that this guy gets for the company. And then I'm going to use the company's ability, which closes it immediately, to buy in a 4 train for half value. There is no need for me to hope I could buy in a 5 train for half value, except maybe if I swallowed again. Huh. But even that, I mean, that's an interesting idea. I could even consider doing that. But that's a risky gamble. And wow, man, that is a tough choice now. I think I'm not gonna do it. I think I'm not too badly positioned at the moment. I got 2 trains, and okay, they're not permanent, but maybe they run a bit. I can make a good amount of money in this position. I can run these 2 trains, right? Other people cannot run 2 trains that well. So they might not be eager to buy 2 of them. So I might be the one who makes the most revenue at the moment. I'm pretty sure about that. And it's okay, you know. I bought my private in, and I'm not in a terrible shape. And if I swallow once, I don't know how much I will make, but I think it's not going to be that bad. But running longer on a 3 train, hoping maybe someone will buy the last 4 and maybe I can just time the things right, I don't think that's going to work out, to be honest. Okay, so yeah, that was the aura of that company, and now it's this guy down here. We only have 1 4 train left, right? So that's the famous Poison 4. Who's going to be the one who buys it? I'm pretty sure it's going to be the owner of the, yeah, probably the guy of the new company. But we'll see. Maybe not. We'll find out. I mean, the good thing is if he would do it, right? If he starts his company high enough, he'd be easily able to buy 2 trains, a 4 and a 5. So maybe that's not so bad. Maybe he's going to do that. And that might be the reason why this guy definitely doesn't want to buy a 4 train, because if he does so, then the guy who opens the new company can buy immediately 2 5 trains, which is a very, very bad idea for him, right? I mean, that really sucks. Yeah, so there's no doubt he's not going to buy a train, even though he could he would have use for it, but yeah, he doesn't do it. We're going to upgrade this one here, Montgomery, which gives a little more money. It's not, yeah, it goes to 40 now. And I think we're going to upgrade it like this. Okay. Oops. So we run for, well, I mean, it's not that great. We can go like down here, so it's 40, it's 100. Okay, so we're done with this set of ORs. And yeah, the trains went slowly. There's no doubt about that. I didn't push them terribly. But as I said, most of my players are not very aggressive, and yeah, the connections, you know, they don't... Oh, wait a minute, there should be a token there. I don't know, they don't allow you to run that many trains right now. Maybe except for here, right? Okay, so I'm done with this set of ORs. This guy will now start his second company. He's in a very good position, right? He had, oh God, he's got 100 and, he nearly got 500 bucks in there, which is really strong. I don't think he can start it for 100 and, well, actually he can. He can sell these, he can sell 2 shares of those guys, and then he can start the company for, easily for 105. So he's going to have a ton of money available, and well, then we'll see, right? So yeah, he seems to have made now all the right choices, and yeah, hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.